Welcome to Critick246. Critick246 is an anti-crime vlogger based in Barbados. Our vlogs will be thought-provoking and sensitive more times than not. However, we are dealing with the nature of crimes committed on our soil which have a negative impact on Barbadians themselves, its economy and our moral compass. To live in a better Barbados, we must be willing to quell the thoughts and actions of those who persist on putting others' lives in danger as they pursue their reckless acts. Without further ado, our first episode is titled, Importation of Illegal Firearm in Barbados and Its Effects. It must be acknowledged that Barbados does not manufacture any firearms or explosive. Yet we have a barrage of illegal firearms in Barbados. According to the Attorney General, he stated that 465 guns were recovered from the streets since 2017. We must commend the efforts of the Barbados Police Service, Coast Guard, Customs officials, Barbados Defense Force and other participants for hauling these guns off the streets. More often than not, we forget to compliment and be grateful when persons who operate in such high-risk professions risk their lives, on a day-to-day basis, so we can have some level of normalcy as it relates to our daily living. However, not to take away from their successes. But it was only 465 guns in a space of 5 years, and that is simply what was recovered. What about the ones not recovered? What about the ones that have been recently imported? What about the ones that are stashed in abandoned houses in your communities? What about the ones that just a stone throw away on the nearby blocks? It's 2022, and probably 465 guns have been imported thus far, who knows? As far as I can recall, there are only 2 ports of entries in Barbados, the seaport and the I-port. Therefore, there is only 2 ways that any foreign subject or material should enter this country. Unless there is a magical portal that we don't know about. And when I last checked, anything that entered this country must be verified and searched by customs officers or personnel who are stationed at each port of entry to prevent any smuggling of contraband, which would include a list of items such as firearms, explosives, narcotics and so forth. Port of entries that are so sophisticated, with their verification technology and manual searches which are set in place to detect the earlier mentioned contraband. However, these firearms and narcotics are still making their way into our lovely communities, among law-abiding citizens. Let's not be naive to the fact, although I mentioned port of entries, that there aren't a few illegal importers of contraband that will try to deliver it like a fast food restaurant to your local beaches when you are deep in sleep or wide awake. Let's not also be naive to the fact that we have some corrupt officials within our customs who allow such contraband to come into our country, or some coast guards who will turn a blind eye when the pirogue boat passes by in the darkness of the night, or even meet the boat with contraband and collect it themselves. The bribes you have taken for the quote-unquote favors have not gone unnoticed. We have seen the result of your deeds. More murders, more robberies, more shootings, more fear driven into the hearts of the law-abiding citizen of Barbados. The bribe you've taken to dismiss your moral duty, so that you can beautify your homes or pay for your flashy rides, came at the cost of a life, came at the cost of chaos, came at the cost of destruction. But let it be said that each and every one of you who act as an enabler or a facilitator of illegal firearms entering this country, you are just as guilty as the person who eventually takes that firearm and robs an innocent person of their possession. Let it be said, you the enabler and the facilitator are just as guilty as the man who takes this same firearm and squeezes the trigger several times until his victim is left showered in bullets, drenched with blood, and a smooth transition from life to death. You the enabler and the facilitator could as well be the one committing the robberies and murders yourself, because you have become an accessory to these crimes. So every time you wake up on mornings and you hear that another murder has occurred or someone has been shot, just pat yourself gently on the back and say, "Good job, bud. I have assisted exponentially in the cause of another man, woman to be killed. I want you to say, because of me that man is dead today." Because it seems you have no conscience for your countrymen. You are so consumed by monetary gains that you have sold out your countrymen to the savages that commit these acts. The legislators and enforcers of the law must take a closer look at these enablers and facilitators of the importation of firearms if we truly desire to quell the imports of illegal firearm in this country. Don't let us wait till a top official daughter or son received a stray shot, then to take it more serious. Also, don't for 1 second think it is your ordinary blockman who has a hand in these imports. Sometimes it's your prominent businessman, whether white, black or East Indian. Some of these persons that go to collect can't get the light bill paid in their homes, yet they're the ones being arrested or portrayed as the front man.